Are you aware that Caleb has been scammed?
It's seeming likely.
My candy company, Sour Boys, was scammed. How's it going, Coffee? It's good to talk to you, man.
Hey, what's up, Oompa? What's going on?
So I have some hilarious, tragic, bad news.
Oh, what happened?
Do you remember the candy company that we modeled our Dylan scam off of, that we put out a couple months ago?
I don't think I've ever been so excited about something in my life.
He just tweeted it, bro. He tweeted it.
Stop!
So someone who worked for me in that business, who no longer works with me now, I found out stole an insane amount of money, like so much that this whole thing might just go under. Like I've had to max out all my credit cards bad.
How much money are we talking?
It's embarrassing to say because it seems stupid, but over $750,000. Over.
Oh my gosh! How? What happened? Dylan Dennis did this to you? I'm gonna find that
It
guy.
would be a lot funnier and less sad if it was Dylan.
So this dude who is fucking me over is in my warehouse. I've been nice to him. I've paid his wages when I didn't have to.
The guy was into crypto. He was into gotcha games. He was a gotcha whale.
And he got you?
He got me. $10,000 a month in gotcha games.
You're $10,000 a month
Yeah,
in gotcha
someone's.
games.
Someone's $10,000 a month in gotcha games.
Can you tell us who scammed you? You have people like your mom working for you, best friend, your cousin, other YouTubers. Who do you think it could have been?
Well, I know exactly who it was, and it's a long story.
Literally, all of my work for the last 2 years has just been siphoned through a lie. It's getting worse too. There's more and more and more and more and more coming out.
Anything I could do to help, I mean, you got to catch this guy.
I need help. I have a lawyer. I have a private investigator investigating stuff. I just have to figure out where all the money went, and I need to expose this to its fullest extent, so hopefully this will never happen to anyone else ever again.
Yeah, okay, all right. Slow down.
Okay?
I can tell you're a little worked up. Start from the beginning.
Okay. So...
Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
You doing all right?
I got a haircut.
You look good.
Thank you.
Before we start, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, my name is Caleb. My last name is Oompaville. My profession is a YouTuber. That's definitely the main focus of all of my time. I also have a candy company, and beyond that, nothing really. I don't really do much. Pretty boring.
We're here today to talk about the candy company in particular. It's to our understanding that you've been scammed. Is this true?
It is. Yeah, it is true. I did. Yeah, it is true. I got scammed.
You got scammed?
Yeah, not good.
Can you tell us more about that?
What do you want to know, though? Like, where would you like to start? On the very beginning, or?
The beginning would be best. Start at the beginning.
We'll go back to 2019. About 4 years ago, in 2019, I wanted to diversify my sources of income as any young entrepreneur, which I am not, but any young man with a mental illness would want to do, make more money. And I was like, what can I do to make money on YouTube that isn't just the same thing that everybody else does? And I settled on potentially creating a candy company because I love candy.
Now, we will be selling this candy after we've used it. We're not. No, that's illegal, I think. That's probably a FDA violation. We're not going to be using this candy after we use it.
I thought that would be really interesting if I did something different and something cool instead of just selling shirts like everybody does.
That's pretty interesting. How did you come to the point of making this idea?
So my cousin and I, Clint, we were just brainstorming, having a little bit of a powwow, and we both kind of came to the conclusion, what if we just tried all the candy out there and we decided what was best, and then we made our own version of that.
How are you doing?
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
That's good. Can you explain what you do here and who you are?
I am the head of the maintenance department here at Sour Boys, and my name is Clint Phelps.
What do you do as head of the maintenance department?
Maintain things.
What is your relationship with Caleb?
He's my boss, and that's it.
No blood relation?
We are cousins, yeah.
How do you even start doing this?
Well, you start by the same process you start anything, any endeavor, learning. I started by reading a bunch of books on manufacturing of candy and like the business aspects of it, and also simultaneously calling every single co-manufacturer that I could possibly find in America, and that was tough. No one wanted to work with me. They did not like me at all.
So you started the company with Clint. Was there anyone else you had with you, like your parents?
My mom helped me from the very beginning. Clint helped me from the very beginning. Tara helped. She's been an editor on the channel since 2019. And my friend Cole, Rifty is Spiffy, the Overwatch YouTuber. Not really, he does Fortnite. He helped me as well a lot. We started as a JV, him and I brought him the idea, and then we kind of worked together for a bit. So I had plenty of people to help.
What were the first steps you even took?
The first steps would have been for me at the time to ask my family for help, basically, to see if they would be willing to work with me. Because I believe at the time I hired my mom at that point, pre-candy company.
Who are you?
I'm Lois, Caleb's mom.
What's your affiliation with Sour Boys?
I am general manager
How long have you been with Sour Boys?
since 2019, about 4 years.
Have you enjoyed your time here?
Some days,
Is Caleb a good boss?
some days. Some days not.
So you hired a lot of your family and friends. Did any of them know actually how to start a candy company?
No. Nobody knew how to start a candy company. I was the closest thing to that, and that's just because I read books.
What's your affiliation with Sour Boys?
I am what you call just a handyman, helper, mostly for free.
It was all dead ends until eventually I found a candy company out of Sweden that was willing to sell in bulk candy in pallets, and then we packaged it ourselves. So they didn't even private label it for us, they just sold it to us in bulk.
And then you resold it under the Sour Boys LLC.
Exactly, yeah, the name, Sour Boys or off-brand.
Hey guys, we're shipping out all the candy today. We're doing a lot right now, live.
What was the initial response to you selling it?
The initial response was crazy for only having 2 flavors and also 2 just basic simple things. It was really just to test the idea to see if it would work.
So this gave you a lot of confidence. Is this when you decided to move down to Texas?
Yeah, Cole being my best friend, he lives here in Texas, and that was one of the main reasons I moved down. My mom also, my main employee, I figured it was just a natural thing to move down, plus taxes. A little better than Virginia, to be honest.
What is your name?
Jesse.
Who are you to Caleb?
I am Caleb's father.
How long have you known Caleb?
I reckon around 26 years.
So how long have you known Caleb?
26 years.
How long have you been working for Caleb?
I've worked for Caleb since 2019 in various positions. I've held this position for about a month.
Are you originally from Texas?
No, I'm from Virginia. He moved down here and he was looking for help with his candy company, so I just moved to Texas. I didn't even come check it out, I just moved straight here.
Are you forklift certified?
I got forklift certified at one point, but it might be expired, I don't know. I can drive a forklift though.
What do you do for the company?
I'm the COO. I'd basically just help try to fulfill any dream that Caleb has.
What is your affiliation with Caleb? Like, how long have you known him?
Since I was really young. I think probably maybe when I was around 3 or 4, I would say.
How long have you worked with Caleb?
I've worked with Caleb since February of last year, which was 2022.
So you moved down to Texas and you were still reselling basically with Cole.
Yeah.
What was the next step from there?
Me and Rifty Spiffy, we decided that the next step would be to have more than just 2 flavors. And in order to do that, we have to take manufacturing into our own business, which is extremely difficult. You just kind of have to keep it interesting or people just lose interest. It's very simple.
I am no longer part of Sour Boys.
A lot of people ask still where Cole is with the candy. This is the point where we split ways.
I have left.
Because I wanted to do the manufacturing thing, and in order to do that, I had to incur debt and take on a lot of unnecessary risk. That is the point in which that separated, when that massive load, that hot load of $500,000 of candy machine equipment just on my shoulders.
Let's just say I didn't want to leave.
So how do you even get into it?
The way that I got into the position to be able to even consider manufacturing it ourselves is before launch, I met a fellow named Jake, AKA Zeldaron. on my Discord server. And he, at the time, was an industrial automation engineer. So kind of had a budding friendship there. I got the idea and I asked him, hey man, would you be interested in helping with the candy? Is there a way we could kind of develop something to manufacture? So he was like my guy on the case, basically, doing research, because he's an industrial automation engineer. He would definitely know more about the process than I would, a YouTuber.
And you start incurring massive amounts of debt.
Yeah, taking all sorts of risks. I sold part of my channel. I took out 2 bank loans, and just all of the money that I made in the month just went directly back into this bad boy. So yeah, it was very expensive, and I just decided to put it all on the line.
Where do you go from there? You have the machine that you want to make. You're incurring all this debt. What's the next step?
Irritable bowel syndrome, brought on by chronic stress, panic attacks, a short stint of homelessness. What do you want to know during this time? It was very stressful. It was a very difficult time. I was also posting every single day on my main channel.
That's right. You were posting every day.
Every single day.
Living in a warehouse.
Yes.
Stinkers, it's me, Caleb. I'm in a warehouse right now. I'm in a climate-controlled self-storage warehouse. This is everything that I own. I'm homeless.
For a time, I lived in Plano in Texas. That's where Cole, he lived around that area. As soon as we kind of split ways, I decided to take my business to a little bit more of a rural area where I was more comfortable. I grew up in this town, and I saw a dope house, a compound. I wanted to buy it. In the process of buying it, a lot of things went wrong, and for about a month, I lived in my warehouse.
Look, broom closet. I just did a cool edit on this. Look at this. Check this out, guys. Look at this. My setup's right here. Check that out. Pretty cool, eh? Here's my cleaning supplies too, and my play button for my channel that got deleted.
What was it like being homeless and living in the warehouse?
Overall, it was pretty terrible, but at the same time, I ate a lot of paydays, and that was a silver lining.
And I've taken my buddy Clint with me here. He's building Legos. Look how sad he looks back there. He looks so sad. Let's get him. I can't edit this. I don't. Hey, buddy. Hello. It'll be all right.
How do you think Caleb was feeling during this time?
He seemed miserable, but I feel like he was overreacting, and it's not that big of a deal. He'll be all right.
It was terrible. I didn't shower the whole time. There was a green smoke emanating from my pores as I walked through the warehouse around all the food manufacturing equipment. Just kidding. Just kidding. That was a joke.
So what was happening with the machine during all this when you were homeless?
It was being built. The initial contract showed 10 weeks to 35 weeks, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but 10 weeks minimum turnaround. So I was like so ready, spending money on stuff. I bought an additional warehouse space in that time. It was all coming together at that point.
Were there any delays with the machine?
Yes, lots of delays. COVID makes sense, manufacturing, equipment, a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables, makes sense. You gotta have people working for you. There's a lot of fabrication that goes into this. Jake said that he was having it all fabbed at the time. In Georgia, there was delays with each little individual vendor. One part takes 6 weeks to get in, then it takes a couple weeks to build it. That was the main source of the delays, was just parts coming in and the labor required to assemble those parts into something bigger and more useful. Yeah, so plenty of delays for sure, but all completely understandable and well within the 10-week to 35-week turnaround of the contract.
Were the delays in the machine stressful?
Yes, immensely for Caleb, and I just went along, but yes, very stressful.
Do you think taking the risk was a good idea?
For the machine, definitely. I think taking a risk is a great idea, and that's the only way to be successful. But there were parts that, after a while, were not a great idea.
Knowing now that you've been scammed, were there any red flags with anyone that was working with you? Do you think anyone was working against you?
During all this delay stuff?
Yes.
Not really, no. And yes, I have been scammed. And yes, there is a mole. I had no idea, though. I genuinely had no idea. Makes me very tired thinking about it. I have a mole on my back. I think it's cancerous.
Are you aware that Caleb has been scammed?
It's seeming likely. There's definitely a mole amongst us. some would say an imposter.
You have basically everything there. You have everything ready. Seems like you had everything flushed out. You just need the machine.
That is it, yeah. We had the recipe, we had all the proper consultants, we had like 80 flavors done and planned out, all the different dyes, all the art. I mean, we even had 100,000 bags ready to go, ready to be filled by March of 2022.
There was a point in 2022 when you got the call the machine was ready though, right?
Rejoice. Absolutely. It was a celebratory moment. The machine was ready. But there was still trouble having it freighted out because it's, 20,000 pounds of just equipment. It's not easy to move. It's like one of the pieces is 30 feet long. Like it's a lot of stuff. I decided that it would be best if we all went and got it ourselves. Obviously, I'm not going to do that kind of dirty work.
So you went with Jesse and Marcus to go pick up the machine. How was that?
Going down there, it was pretty exciting. We were like, all had been waiting to go get the machine, and now we finally had the chance, so we were all ready to just like get down there and go get her loaded up and bring her back and get started.
You went to help get the machine in Georgia, right?
I did. I drove 1,000 miles approximately.
How did that go?
It was a good rough ride. Me and a buddy. Went well.
Things weren't as organized as what we were expecting them to be. We were still just like making the best of it. We were like super happy to like be able to walk in there and just see that the machine actually existed, and we were like, oh man, like it's all here. Like it's like it starts bringing the dream to life a little bit. We got everything loaded up. There were still going to be some pieces missing because they just weren't ready.
So your dad, Forrest, and Marcus go to pick up the machine from Georgia. This would be the first time anyone's ever seen Jake in person.
Yes. I had never seen him, I had never met him. I talked to him on the phone a lot and texted him a lot. But yeah, that was the first time. So I was excited to hear what my dad had to say and what Forrest had to say about the whole experience. It's very, very, very exciting to go finally meet Jake.
How was meeting Jake?
Meeting Jake it was a pleasure to meet the engineer who has fabricated all this equipment. I felt he was a bit nervous. Maybe sweaty.
Can you do an impression of him?
I can. Jake, he was a little fidgety.
Was he on stimulants?
I'm not aware of the stimulants, but he sure enough was vaping.
What was your first impression of Jake?
I don't really know what I was expecting of Jake, but I was expecting a man that was like, my brother's an engineer, and it's a different type of engineering, but well-groomed, put together, button-up shirts, professional, right, and like clean. Jake was like very sloppy and like just frazzled hair, very like twitchy, pale, greasy.
Like the machine has arrived. What's your response? What's your reaction to it?
Happiness, relief.
Woo! Holy shit. That is so badass, bro. Can't believe all this has got to go in this building.
And then after that, a sobering moment of what next?
And how do you continue it? You hook up the machine?
No, you still had to wait for Jake to do all that stuff, or I would void the contract, which would not have been smart for me to do. That's what he was being paid for. In his contract, he was paid to create from the ground up a process to manufacture candy at large scale and also install it at my location.
I'm assuming all the parts finally get down there, and then so does Jake, and he comes down and starts the machine.
No. There was a couple more delays. There was one piece that was left behind in Georgia, the packaging machine, which was a very automated process. That was in a bunch of pieces when my father and everyone went to Georgia. That was all taken apart in their shop. That was the next step, was to get that piece, and then Jake would come out and set everything up.
Okay.
So, and at that point, I think he gave me a timeline of around November from August, but really it was just a lot of radio silence. Money problems as well. On his half.
On his part, he was losing money?
Yeah, he was having some problems. He mentioned that he was going through like a intellectual property dispute, and that was doing his revenue in and making it difficult for him to have working capital.
November comes, what happens?
So in November, Jake texts me and asks me what I think about being able to put more money in because they've gone well over budget. And at the time, I told him that I would absolutely love to do that. I would love to spend more because he did a good job. He did good on me in cutting the price down $200,000 initially from like $700,000 to $500,000. He was really, really helpful. So I gave him, he asked for $130,000 and gave me a BOM, bill of materials with just every single piece needed, the pipes, the hose, the fittings, connectors, everything basically to get us from 0 to 60 to launch. And it was 130 grand. And I sent him the money in November of 2022.
Did you think the candy was going to launch after Caleb gave Jake the 130,000?
Yeah, I was like, it seemed like Jake had made some mistakes and like he had not estimated what the cost of the job was gonna be. Caleb was just like willing to fucking pull the trigger and fucking took the hit for the team and fucking paid the $130,000 to him. Like, man, if he can for sure get it done, then it's worth it.
So early December comes, things are going very well for me, and I get a text from Jake, hey man, not feeling good in the hospital. I have double lung pneumonia or something, right?
Pneumonia is what he had. And his lung had to get drained or something, so then it got pushed off to the next year.
But he sent me a picture of him with his little wrist in the hospital, and I felt bad, clearly, because I'm a human being. And this guy who's been helping me for a long time, we've been working together for a long time, is in the hospital. So nothing happened, essentially, for the whole month of December because he had severe pneumonia and had to get lung surgery. No personal feelings, just an inconvenience in the professional sense. It was not, I had no ill will for Jake for getting sick, because he couldn't help that, obviously. But
So you were just waiting for him to have surgery and he'd be able to come right down?
yeah, we were just waiting for that to finish, and then he would be able to come back down as soon as he was better.
So how did his surgery go? Did he get better?
Yeah, his surgery went successfully, and he wasn't cleared by a doctor to come down. So I suggested that he just send his coworker Will in his stead to help us just get the ball rolling, right? Like, come on, man, we're really, really waiting on this stuff. I'm losing a lot of money. You know, I've spent $50,000 a month in just payroll for all businesses, not just the candy specifically, but it's a lot of responsibility. So please help. Let's get this done so we can buy more machines. Let's get this done.
What was your first impression of Will?
Will's a character. I mean, you're gonna see him. He's got like colored hair.
What was your first impression of seeing Will in Texas?
First impression? I'm not good with first impressions. I'm usually a little negative. So he was different.
What did you think of Will when he came to Texas?
Blue hair, Fortnite.
What did you think of Will? Are you here against your will?
No.
How did Will's arrival affect the project?
Well, as soon as Tyler Blevins showed up, I was pretty excited because he was keeping the spirits high. I took him out to dinner the first night, schmoozed him up a good bit, and learned about him a little bit, learned about him and Jake, kind of got an idea of their relationship. It went really well the first maybe the first day it went very well, and then it didn't go that well. It didn't go as well after that.
What would you say your first day here was like?
Kind of confusing. I was told to show up and get a few things done, and it was odd.
What was your impression of Caleb when you first arrived?
He was pretty nice. Asked me to go out to dinner with him, had dinner, and then didn't see him too much after that.
What happened?
So it just seemed like Will didn't really want to help us. It seemed like Will was there to slow us down. Either that or Will was completely incompetent. The first couple days Forrest was working with Will when they were actually getting stuff done, he was like calling me like, dude, this is bad. I don't know what this guy, I hope Jake is better at this kind of stuff because we're not gonna be able to launch unless we get someone else to help us. And mind you, I just spent $130,000 to have this stuff up and running. So at this point, I'm starting to lose my patience a little bit. There's only so many excuses you can have, and there's only so much play before things start to get hostile.
What was your first impression of the team?
Yeah, I'd met Forrest and Clint and a couple other people when they came and got the machinery the first time, and Forrest was kind of a hard ass, and Clint was just happy to be there, and everybody else pretty chill.
How long have you known Jake?
I knew him about 10 years. He was best friends of my best friend, and we had hung out a few times, played some video games.
He just didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know how to do anything. We had to communicate with Jake. Jake knew everything somehow. Will didn't really know anything about the machines, which we all thought was weird because they built them. It was just a lot of asking questions and then getting an answer that's irrelevant, if that makes sense. Just like, are you manipulating me right now? Like, what is going on? Just red flags. Lots and lots and lots and lots of red flags.
You're still waiting on Jake to come down there because you've basically been given someone that doesn't know what they're doing either.
Yeah, we've been given incompetence, essentially. That's how I viewed it as. And I should bring up at this point as well, Will had not been paid in 2 or 3 weeks. The money problems for Jake were at an all-time, they were at ATL. Not Atlanta, but on all-time low. All-time low. Atlanta's a shithole. I fucking hate Atlanta. Sorry, Atlantites. But Will hadn't been paid. Things are getting worse with Jake. There's no money. I told Will, hey man, I'll pay your back pay. How about that? Let me pay you what Will owes you, and that's between me and you. Let's get this shit done. I was starting to talk to him in a way that was almost manipulative from my perspective, being like, hey man, if you can help us get this done, like, I'll hire you. Whatever you're getting paid by Jake, I'll double it, and you can work for us. Like, it seems like you know what you're doing. I was just lying to him essentially to try to get information because things were starting to turn black. It was fucking weird for a bit. Yeah, so I paid his back pay, and the next day he started working a lot harder for us. And it was like just on an instant, things sort of changed, which was even more suspicious, to be honest.
So Will couldn't stay down there forever. Did Jake ever eventually come down?
No. Still have never seen Jake, which is terrible, but he never came down. He did ask for more money, and I did offer him more money just to kind of get an idea of where everything was at. One night right before Will was supposed to leave, I told Jake, hey man, what do I need to do to get you down here? I don't think we can do this with just Will. I think we need you. What can I do to get you down here? I'll do anything. Like, your business is failing. You're having money trouble. What do you need for me to get you down, to get this launched? I'll even buy your business and move you here and help, whatever. Just trying to be as generous and encompassing as possible to get things going in the right direction. Some call it manipulation. Some call it being a fucking top G. All right. It was manipulation, but I was scared. I was like very, very nervous that this was all, I was getting fucked over. And the next morning, Jake calls me back and says, yo man, $35,000 will get me 1 week, and then another $35,000 will get me another week. I started laughing. I was like, of course. This same day too that Jake says this, Will dropped a massive bombshell that shook the earth to its core. So the machines are sitting in my warehouse, and I'm walking around being a dick, making fun of everybody. Not Forrest, but just Will, just kind of poking fun at him. He's looking stressed. I feel like a bully in this moment, literally, because I'm mad. And Jake just is trying to siphon more money out of me, and I think that Will is his counterpart. So this dude who is fucking me over is in my warehouse. I've been nice to him. I've paid his wages when I didn't have to. So I've been over backwards for this guy, and I just, dude, how did you not know how to make this? Didn't you guys literally make all this? Didn't you design all this? And he looks at me and he says, we didn't design this. And I was like, wait. Did you make it? No, we didn't make this. Huh?
What was going through your head when the true origins of the machine came to light?
I was really confused. I thought that there was at least some level of understanding that we didn't build it. I guess I was really confused about how I thought everybody knew, or at least had put together the pieces that there's no way that we built anything like this.
And I looked at Forrest, and we had a moment in which we were going to consume Will. We looked at each other and we were going to consume him and eat him and sacrifice his heart to the blood gods. I'm not even joking. It was so bad. 2 years of stress and risk culminated into one moment of us finding out that I just got fucked over hard by a guy that was my friend that tried to get $70,000 from me a couple hours before for the promise of some fucking pipe dream.
What did you think when Will exposed Jake's scam?
I wondered about a lot of things anyways, so it all made sense once it all came out.
How did you feel when they found out that they've been scammed?
At first, I was like, it was a lot to process because, man, we'd been waiting on it for so long. Caleb had put so much money into it, and like we were all like just wanting it and believing in it so much, and like it kind of felt like it was maybe all gonna like come crumbling down for a moment, and then like I feel like none of us really were like, oh well, this isn't the end, you know, because like we still had a machine, we could still try to make it work, and like no one really got down too much. We pretty much just instantly were like, okay, now it's in our hands. He's a scammer. How are we gonna make this work for ourselves? But it was like definitely a big blow. It was terrible, and it all really made sense looking back on it. But yeah, we were definitely taken by surprise on that one.
So Will's scared. He's like, no, we didn't make it, and he shows me a receipt from Jake buying the machine. Literally everything that we had in my warehouse was bought, pre-made from China. China, dude. I was squirting and pissing and shitting everywhere. I was so mad and so angry, I could not believe it. Actually, I could believe it. It all started to make sense, actually. The pictures he sent me from the old boys in the fab shops around Atlanta, that's just from fucking Mugu Gaipan. Somewhere in China made. All right, and to be fair, the people who made it are very nice people. Our friends in China, they're incredible. They're easy to talk to. But in the moment, I was mad as fuck because my Made in America machine, it was made in Georgia by my friend, who I have a personal connection with, is just, it's all big lie. The best part of all this, guys, I'm $1 million in, right? Over $700,000 to just Jake, not including the $70,000 that he wanted that I never gave him, fortunately. Guess how much the receipt for the machine was?
How much?
$143,000.
For the machine from China.
So he basically charged me $350,000 to ship a machine from China and not set it up, and also not give all of it to me. Bit of a scam, I'd say. Bit of a fucking scam. I haven't talked to him since. I've tried calling him, but I haven't talked to him since.
So what's the status of the candy now?
Well, actually, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Better than ever, and I should make this clear too. Will, I am grateful for him, for his life, for his honesty, for his ability to stand up to fear, to change his life completely. He now is a good friend of mine. He helped. He was lied to just as much as I was. The dude was completely in the dark, and he has gotten us to where we are now, which is on the precipice of ultimate success. All right? I'm kicking my feet. I'm so excited.
What do you think about Jake now, knowing what you know now?
I want him in jail at the very least. I mean, he financially ruined my family. He had been short on paying me, and I've racked up credit card debt covered it, and all of a sudden, a 3-day work trip is turning into moving my entire family and all of our pets 1,000 miles away, and it's unbelievably frustrating because I thought I knew him. I trusted him, at the very least. You know, we had hung out online and played some games, and now I'm thrust in the middle of this enormous lie. And my wife and I are trying to pick up the pieces of some kind of life through the middle of this.
What do you think should be done about Jake?
I think we should him and get the in face.
What do you think should be done now?
I think Jake needs to get every single thing coming to him. Pretty much.
What do you think of Fortnite?
Fortnite. I don't know much about video games. Did Caleb used to play that? No, it was Minecraft that he used to play.
Did you ever play any of the mods he made?
He was very particular about his mods. In fact, when he was like 10, some guy tried to steal one of his mods, and he was very persistent in everything he did, and he wrote a cease and desist letter as a 10-year-old to this guy and was going to sue him, and it worked. And then the guy gave everything back or whatever, and it worked out when he was 10.
So what are you going to do about Jake?